Alright, my name's Emily and I'll be teaching you guys how to write blog posts. So to start, blog posts are a key part of our team. We like to post every other week, and this kind of allows us to communicate with our sponsors and to allow them to follow our progress. It also kind of allows people to learn more about what exactly we're doing, and it's really a key part of our team's outreach. So in this presentation, I'll talk about steps to writing a blog post, which include research, planning, drafting, and then quotes and media, which is kind of just pictures and quotes, editing, peer editing, helpful resources, and success criteria. So steps to writing a blog post. So the first step I like to start with is research. So research is kind of just like, what am I writing about? Why is it significant? Why should people care? What are you trying to communicate? And then a good question I like to ask too is, what are you teaching them exactly? Like, are you teaching them about a subject, kind of just updating them about our progress, or just kind of creating excitement? Next, I like to do planning. So with planning, I like to use an outline personally. This document here, I can't show you right now because I had issues with my video, but I will share this with you. This was created by a member who graduated last year. Really, really useful, really helps walk you through all the steps and kind of what to focus on with your writing. But I recommend making some kind of outline that just kind of shows you how you're going to write and like what subjects you're going to cover. But in the planning step, you want to define your key points that you want to cover. So this is kind of just what subject you want to cover and what different topics do you want to cover in that blog post. Next, I do drafting. So again, I use this outline. So I use my key points and I'll start adding more information about it. At this step, I will start writing too. This is kind of just a rough draft to start, and then you can go in and edit it and fix it as you keep going. But this step is kind of where you just implement your ideas. Next, I'd use quotes and media. So quotes and media kind of make your blog post more appealing. So I'd really stress that you need to use quotes and media. So this also allows people to understand what we are doing, because that way they can both understand from a student's point of view as well as seeing visual pictures, which allows people to kind of just see what we're doing. And a good way to think of this is, if we were to tell someone we're building a car, they might think some kind of like small car, while in reality we're building a crazy solar car. Like, that's something really cool, but wouldn't be understood without a picture to show it. And this is really necessary for an effective blog post. Next, with pictures for media, make sure you use good pictures that clearly show the point, and then make sure to add captions. So this example here is a pretty good example if we were to be writing or showing a picture of someone replacing a tire on the solar car. And then for the picture that's on the left is not a good picture because there's a lot going on in the background, and it's also really narrow, which kind of makes it really hard to figure out what exactly to focus on. And also kind of hard to tell what's actually going on. While the picture on the right here is much better because it focuses mainly on the car, and it kind of shows you exactly what's going on. And from this picture you can kind of tell too that the car was moving. Next, with quotes, make sure you ask students about their feelings on your topic. So for this step, I'd highly recommend you prepare short questions and then send them to them and have them answer that. And then when they send you back a response, don't be afraid to make minor edits to their quotes. So like if they were to add like a really long quote, I know is an issue frequently, feel free to crop that down, but if there's any grammatical mistakes, feel free to correct those as well. All right, editing. So first, I'd highly recommend reading through your blog post multiple times, and make sure to also read it aloud. A lot of times when you start writing, you won't notice that there's a mistake. And I know for me personally, I miss like grammar all the time, but reading it out loud, I hear when I were to mess up or if I were to stumble over a sentence. And I know with some programs too, you can actually have the program read it to you out loud, which I also find personally really useful. But in this step, make sure you correct any grammar and spelling errors that you see. Next, with peer editing, have someone else read your document. While you're probably, I would assume, a really good writer, you want to make sure that you have someone else in case you were to miss mistakes that you frequently make. And then for blog posts on our website, we will have multiple people read and edit, but it's also always a good idea to have as many people edit as you can to ensure that it's clear and concise, and you don't have any silly grammatical or spelling mistakes. And then when peer editing, make sure that you correct mistakes that the editor finds, and make sure that they're all correct. with a peer editor, make sure it's someone who actually knows how to write and is somewhat, I would highly recommend having someone who does know what you're talking about. But then personally, I'd also recommend having someone who doesn't necessarily know what you're talking about, because that way they can ask questions if they don't understand something and it's not clear. And then some helpful resources. So for outline and planning, this is the same document that I mentioned before for your outline. I will share this with you guys if you are in my group. And then look at examples. So a good place to look for examples is on our website. Look at the different blog posts. Most of them are written by our students and are really effective at showing exactly how you should write your blog posts. Alright, so success criteria. So for my group, you're going to be writing a blog post that recaps your experience so far on the team. Include at least 2 pictures and captions and at least 1 quote. And then have your blog post peer edited and correct mistakes that are found. And then when you're done, send me the finished blog post. And yeah, thank you.